Hello. Hi, my name is Dawn Duvall. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I am coming to you pre-recorded since I am out of town, and I wanted to make sure that I gave you some more information on our kits and what we can do with making alternative cards. So today, or this evening, depending on when you're watching this, I am going to be working with our Boho Beach kit. And I'm going to show you again, if you watched my previous video on the Forever Friends, I'm going to show you the contents of this particular kit, and two of the cards. That is how they have instructions for you to make them. And then we're going to make three alternative cards. This will help give you some ideas to think outside of the box and be able to create more cards with your kit's contents. So let's turn the camera down and let's get started. All right, this is the Boho kit, and during the month of August, which today is August 5th of 2023, all of our kits, or the majority of the kits, are on sale up to 30% off. It's a great time if you're someone that's just starting out learning how to craft. These all-inclusive kits are perfect for that, and I'll show you in a few minutes why. If you're someone that lives like in a motorhome or a tiny house or something, or even you have small spaces, you have a small craft room, and you don't have a lot of space, these are perfect because you've got the box that you can continue to use to carry the supplies or any other supplies that you may have. If you do any types of traveling or have grandchildren or children around, again, we have a lot of kits that they would probably enjoy doing, and we do have some that are designed for children as well. So if you're doing like a birthday party, and one of our birthday kits might be something fun that the kids could get together into, or you can have an adult night and have everybody come over and have, you know, a cocktail or two, whatever, and make cards. So, okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. So this kit is the Boho Beach kit, and it gives you the supplies to make 8 cards. You're going to make 4 of each design. So this is and I'll go through and show you the cards and envelopes in just a moment. So when you have, so what happens, this is completely all-inclusive, and I'll give you that information as well. It comes with, let me show you that, it comes with a block, hang on a minute. It comes with a clear block that you'll use to put your stamps on, and every time you order an all-inclusive kit, you will get one of these blocks, and this I think is our D size, which is a pretty standard size, and it will fit all of the kits no matter which ones that you use. Now this one comes with an ink spot, which is what we call ink spot, is our mini little ink pad, and this is in the color of pecan pie. And then you're going to get some twine. You'll get a roll of twine, which I've used almost all of this up, but you'll get that. You'll also receive a pack of glue dots, but I think I've used all mine up. And then you'll get a package of dimensionals, and there are enough in here for you to use these and create all of the cards. You'll also receive a stamp set. Let me flip this. Let me see if I can find something. Hang on a minute. Oh, here, we'll just do this. Maybe that helps. You'll have a stamp set, and this one has 2 leaves, some dots for like sand, and 2 sentiments. One, enjoy your day. The other one says sit back and relax. So you'll receive this. And then in addition to that, let me move this over here out of the way. You're going to receive the card bases and coordinating envelopes. Here are what the envelopes look like. Aren't these beautiful? It's water. Now, I did not take the time to create cards using the envelopes like I did before, but keep in mind that this might be something that you want to do. So if you're trying to make like an ocean scene, you can cut this off and use that as your background. All right, and then your card bases are beautiful card bases, and they're a little thin. They're thinner than our typical cardstock, and these are the last 2 that I have not used because everything else I've cut up. But you'll see that it's scored, and so this is the whole length of the card. So my recommendation is if you make them like what the card kit says, that's fine. But if you want to step it up a notch, then you can get your paper trimmer and then cut these down in half, and then go from there and create, and you'll get several more cards than what the box typically requires. So you'll get 4 in this this design, and you'll receive 4 in this design. Now, in addition to that, you'll get these pop outs. You'll get 4 these umbrellas, beach umbrellas. So you get 4 of those. You're going to get 4 of these green, I think it's Lost Lagoon colored leaves. And then you're going to receive 4 templates for your sentiment. And you're going to get that also, that is in the green color, and then these are in the pecan color. So you'll get 4 each. And then you're going to receive 4 of the little chairs, and you'll use your glue dots when you're ready to adhere these to your cards. And then you're going to receive 4 of these leaves and 4 of the green ones that I showed you. So you'll receive, I think it's 4 of these if I'm not mistaken. And then you're going to receive these little shells. So you'll, I've only used 2 of them, so you'll get some large ones and smaller ones. And then these are 2 pieces that I've already cut off that I haven't used yet. So I'm going to use that. And I think that's everything that comes in the box, in your kit. All right, so let me put these back because I've already got everything out and ready for us to use. So let me put all this back in here. And then I'm going to show you, based on what the kit, let me pull this out too so I can show you, because if you're new to our kit collection, then you'll need to see this. Okay. So in your instructions, this is your instructions. These are the 2 cards that you'll be making. And as you can see, you're going to have some thread that you'll use on this one. And you're going to, and then you'll have thread that you're going to use on this one. The beigey one will use the chair, and you're going to stamp one of those leaves. And you'll stamp this leaf as well, and some dots. So when you come down, the middle section shows you exactly how you should be stamping your projects. All right, so in this case, on the green one that has the umbrella, this section right here is showing you the ink that you're going to color up the little sandy spots, and then this leaf right here, this little leaf, as well as your sentiment stamp. Okay, and then you're going to stamp the like sand, if you will, around the rocky area here. You're going to stamp that flower or leaf, right, or I guess it's a plant. Well, I guess it's a leaf, whatever. You're going to stamp that right there. And then you're going to take your ribbon, and it also tells you how much ribbon or twine that you need to cut. And there is a ruler right here, so you don't have to worry about having a ruler handy. And then the most important thing to keep in mind is that it shows you these little dots right here. The dots are glue dots, so you would place glue dots on the back side of this leaf here and the shell there. And then you will fold your ribbon or tie a bow, however you want to do it. And then the back of the sentiment, you would use your Stampin' Dimensionals. Okay, those are the little foam pop-ups. And then this is what your card would look like once it's completed. And then the same thing takes place when you're putting the second card together. And then that's how your card will look, just like I showed you before. And then on the back, on the back, let me get to that part right here. It also shows you everything that's included in the kit. It does give you the coordinating colors. And then if you want to look at some additional information, you can scan the QR code if you're a beginner. And then here you can look at additional kits, or I'll have my link to my online store, which will be down below the video. All right, so this is what the cards look like if you create based on what the template tells us to do in the box. So this is the one with the beach umbrella. Very simple, but isn't that gorgeous? And then, of course, it's white, so you have lots of room to write your message. And then the other one, now this is in the vertical mode, and then this one is horizontal, and this has the chair. And again, you're going to see where you stamped this leaf on this one. This one, if you see right here, that's where we stamped the little leaf that it told us about. So this one, you're going to stamp the leaf in the pecan pie, and then you're going to add this Lost Lagoon color one there, pop up with your other leaf, or I guess it's a leaf, and your chair is using your glue dots, and then this you're going to stamp, wrap a little bit of twine around it, and then pop those up on dimensionals. So those are the 2 cards that the kit has been designed to make. All right. So now we're going to go and we're going to think outside of the box, and we are going to create 3 additional cards, and let's get started with those. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is this one here. Now everything I'm using for the base of the cards is going to be thick, basic white cardstock. Now one of the things you do want to have on hand, if you don't, is a paper trimmer, and you can find these in our online store, in my online store. It has a cutting blade, and then the lighter one is your scoring, so that will put the crease in there for the fold, okay? And this has an arm that opens up to 17 inches. And then one other tool I would highly recommend is the silicone craft mat. These are like maybe $5, but it definitely is worth it because it keeps your ink and your, well, your ink too, but your glue from sticking to your paperwork. So if you use this when you're gluing things down, it doesn't get all over your paper, okay? So that's just a recommendation. Actually, I'm gonna leave that here. Now on this card, what I did was I took the deckled rectangles and I used the second largest, and I realized, which this is fine, but I think what I should have done was use the largest one so that I would have more of the color of the card base, which is this right here, and I cut both of them down at the same time. So had I used the larger one, it would have had a larger coloring with a slightly white border. Okay, so that's just a recommendation. And then just go down each size. So in this case, I use the second, third, and fourth. But if you do this, I would encourage you to use the first one, the second, and the third. Okay, and that's the deckled rectangle dies. All right, so this is what we did. I'm using a piece of pecan pie cardstock. We're going to stamp this piece of basic white using our oceanfront stamp, and then we're going to add some ribbon and do a sentiment there. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so we have our base white card base. It's thick basic white. All right, so we're going to come in and we're going to score this at 4 1/4. So you want to line up at 4 and then count over to the 4th notch, which is 1/4 inch. And you want to butt it up to the top there. Always make sure you're using the gray because that's the scoring tool. And that's what will give you your crease in the center of your cardstock. Okay, so this is what we will use. And I'm going to flip this over. I want to make sure I've got my edges lined up. Sometimes you have to just kind of work with it. And then we're going to take our bone folder, and we want to come in and we're going to crease this really good, and we're going to do it on both sides so that it doesn't open up on us. All right, now, so I've already cut the items out that we need, so it's going to be layered like this. But the first thing we need to do is we're going to do some stamping. So let me bring in this because I know I'll probably go off the page. Now we're going to use our oceanfront stamp set. Give me just a second, I gotta locate it. I know I put it here somewhere. Oh, no, oh, here it is, right in front of me. All right, so we're gonna use these 3 pieces plus some of the leaves. So this one I'm gonna use as our sky, and I'm gonna, let me get a block here. Take some of these off, so I'm gonna stick them on here so I don't lose them. All right, so I'm gonna use this one, and I'm gonna bring in our, where's my blue? We're going to use our balmy blue. Oh, let me go get it. Sorry, I put it back when I wasn't thinking. All right, so we're going to use balmy blue for our sky. And I think I'm going to stamp off because I did that on this one, but it looks a little dark. So I might stamp off a little bit or maybe not ink it up quite as much. All right, so we're going to use balmy blue, and we just want to make sure we get this completely, and if there's spots open up in it, it's fine because this is the sky, right? So we don't care. All right, and normally what I would recommend is that you stamp your piece of white first before you cut it. That way, if you're using a larger piece, then you'll know exactly how to place the your stamp. But the die. So in this case, I went ahead and pre-cut it to save time. So I'm just going to stamp this, at the top, and I'm going to stamp off a little bit, and this one should probably pretty much cover. Now I didn't stamp this off, but that's okay. We got a little white there, but that's fine. It could look like it's the clouds, you know. All right, so now we're going to clean this off, and we're going to open up and bring out, give me 1 second. Take this off, and then we're going to bring out the next piece. I love this set, and this set is in our annual catalog, and we'll place that there. Now we're going to come in and we're going to use this is going to be our water, and then this is going to be our sand. Okay, so now we're going to do our water, and we're going to do that in Pool Party. If I can find it, let me see. Do I want to do Pool Party? Yes, let's do Pool Party. I think that would look better. So let's do that. So again, we're going to come in with our Pool Party, and we're going to ink this up as well. All right, and we're going to stamp it right about here, and I'm going to overlap a little bit. And we might leave a little bit of white. Let's see, let's do it like that, because again, you know, the water and the sky isn't going to always meet. All right, so there's our water, and you could always come back if you wanted to fill this in. I'm not going to be too concerned about that. I think it's going to be fine. We could go back if we wanted and just do a little piece right there, but I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Okay. All right, so we're going to take that and move that off to the side, and then let's clean this off, and we're going to bring in our the beach, the sandy part. Okay, so I'm going to place this back in here, and then I'm going to bring in this piece right here. And I think the other pieces we've already, whoopsie, we've got ready to go. All right, so this one we're going to use crumb cake. We're using a lot of colors. All right, so this one we're going to do crumb cake, and this is going to be our sand, and then we're going to stamp some sand, little pebbles, and let's see, we're going to get this right about here. All right, so the sand's coming down. We didn't get a lot on there. Let me see if we can redo this. Since it's photopolymer, we might be able to go over top of it and add, yeah, we should be able to do that. Okay, that's our beach. That's a little bit darker than what we wanted, but that's okay. It works out. And I think what we'll do, now we can come back right here, and we can fill in a little bit, like right here for some sand. That way it's kind of near the water. You can see the sand's kind of washing away. All right, so that's good. Now we're going to come in with our little sand spots, and we're going to make some little speckles. All right, so give me a second, and let me find my speckles. And I've got that, and I know they're around here, so bear with me 1 second. I've got stamps located all over the place. And where are my speckles? Oh, here they are. And let's see. Yep, we'll do this one. And we'll come out. All right, so we're going to come back in with our crumb cake. And I'm just going to do a few little speckles kind of down in the white area off here to make it look like we've got some sand. And we can do a little bit right there. Okay? That kind of takes up that white space. Okay, now with that, we are now going to come in, and we're going to stamp a leaf. And let me put this back in here. Let me get my flower because I got to do that one now. So we're going to stamp, I'm trying to locate all my pieces, and I'm missing, oh, there it is. I took it off the block. All right, so we've got 2 flowers. We're going to do one, we'll put it on here. It's a large block for this one. Here, let me take, I'm going to swap out. Hang on a second. I'm going to swap out a stamp here. That's for later. All right, so this one we're going to do in Lost Lagoon. So we're going to move our papers over. We got lots of colors going on here. So we're going to stamp this one in Lost Lagoon. And we're going to stamp that right on the, down in the sand, kind of going up towards the water, if you will, because we're going to be standing back from this, right? All right, so there's that. And then we're going to come in with another small plant, which is going to be one of the little wispy, and we're going to do this in beige as well. Some of the, I guess, the cattails, if that's what they're called. I think that's what they're called, cattails. So let's go ahead and do that. See, it's a really easy, now this one we're using a lot of different colors, but it's a really cute, easy card to make. All right, and I'm just going to place that right about there. So we got some cattails as we're looking out on the water. And then, last but not least, we're going to stamp a little baby bird. So let me put some of this, oops, hang on one second here. Let me get my bird stamp. And the bird stamp, I am using it from the Seaside Bay. I love this stamp set. So if you like the beach, this is a great set to use. It also has some sand. It's got all of these. It's got 13 red rubber cling stamps. So we're going to come in here and, oh, I got my birds right here. Sorry. I am going to take, sorry, I'm making a lot of noise, aren't I? We're going to use our basic gray. Now these are those little, I think they're sandpipers, but there's 3 on the block. There's 3, it's one piece, but I only want one. So I'm going to just ink up because they're far enough apart, if you can see. So I'm just going to place this guy right here in my basic gray ink. And I'm just going to make sure that it gets inked up enough and I can see. So I'm going to place him over here on the sand because he's going to be looking for some food. All right, so we're placing him right there. Okie doke, and we'll put that. And of course, he's kind of blending in, but if you notice this one, I did him more on the white side. All right, so we've got him there. So let me clean him off real quick. I don't like the ink sitting on the stamps too long. If you clean them quick enough, they won't stain, but we want to make sure that we keep them clean. All right, so there's that. Let's move all this out of the way. Now, the next thing we're going to do is let's go ahead and build our card. I like to do it this way, and then I can add my sentiment and add our bow. Okay, so we're just going to layer these up. And again, like I suggested, I would go ahead and do the size up, the largest decal, and then just do the 3, one right after the other. But again, you can use whatever size you choose. All right, so we're going to lay this right here. And I like this look of this decal. I mean, it's just really pretty. And isn't that gorgeous? And I wish I would have cut it wider because that would have allowed us to see more of that beautiful card base. But that's okay. All right, so we're going to use our multi-purpose glue, and we're going to add that right there. And we're just using these are all being laid down flat. Now I am going to come in with a glue dot, and I'm pretty sure I used up all the other ones. I don't know what I did with them, but I'm going to take my tweezers, my little tweezers, and I'm going to roll up this glue dot, and I'm going to put it right here. And then we're going to make a bow, and we're going to add the bow to this. Let me move that. I don't think I need that. And let's bring our twine in. Now, when the twine is on this, take your thumbnail and just run through it, and that will help to straighten it out. I'm just going to make a bow. I did a double bow, so let's see if I can do it this time. I'm going to go ahead and, oopsie, hang on. So I'm just going to wrap this in half, and then I'm going to trim this off. Let's see if I can do it. All right, so there is my, get my pieces together here. All right, so let's see if we can do, see it's got a little bit of curl to it. We're gonna see if we can't make us a double bow. And we wanna get that pulled in. I need to get my nails cut because they're too long. All right, there we go. All right, perfect, that worked. So we're gonna pull that in. And then this piece right here, we're gonna snip. And that's going to be our other tail. So I'm just going to pull this one out just a little bit and bring that down. Probably trim this off some. Let's do that. All right, so we're going to place this right about there, right on that glue dot. And we can, before we do that, let's make this a little bit bigger. Or we can pull this one down. Let's see. That'd probably be easier. There we go. All right, so there's my glue dot. So I'm going to lay that right there. And then we're going to come in with a scrap piece of cardstock. And we are going to, and I'm going to trim this up, so we're going to stamp our sentiment. And I'm using from one of the sets that we're going to use as well is the In the Moment stamp set. And you'll see that in just a moment. Let me put this stamp back in here. And we are going to use a stamp, but we're not going to use the we're going to use a sentiment, but we're not going to use the whole sentiment. Okay, so here's the sentiment, and all I want is the word relax. So what we can do is take, make a mask or use a sticky note or whatever you have, and we want to basically just cover our, let me see, I got some masking tape paper in here. We just want to cover up enough of the stamp. Let's see if I got a piece in here. Yep, this piece should work right here. Or you can use a little bit of glue and some piece of paper, cardstock, or whatever is fine. It doesn't matter. All right, so I'm going to take this, and I think rather than pull it apart, I'm just going to, let's see, we can get it on here. Let me go ahead and get this so we can peel it off. Or you can use your markers. You can use your Stampin' Write markers, not your blends, but your Stampin' Write markers, and you can color your words as well. And I'm going to do this in the Lost Lagoon, so I'm going to use my masking tape to cover all of those words right there, okay? Because all I want is the word relax. We're going to bring in our ink, and we're going to stamp the word on here. And you can try to do it without putting the whole thing in there, but we're going to place it right there. All right, and we've got it inked up, so we're going to remove this tape, and you can see that I just have the word relax, and then we're going to stamp that onto our scrap, and we're going to cut this. So I'm going to stamp the word relax. Actually, I need to do it because I want to do, oh wait, if I do it over here, hold on, might be have enough room to do a, let's do it like that. Might have enough room to make, yep, I can. Okay, now we're going to trim that up and cut it into a banner, into a tail. So let me, give me 1 second, and we're going to pull in the paper trimmer. And we're going to trim this up. So I'm just eyeballing whatever works for you, you know, just cut it whatever length you want. You can always bring it down. I'm just going to eyeball it into the trimmer. All right, and that might work. I think that's good. We can go with that, and we'll put that in there. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my snips, and the first thing I'm going to do is try to cut this so it's straight, okay? And then we're going to cut up the center of our wording, and then just go from corner to corner to make a tail. Or you can use like if you have a corner punch or something like that. All right, so there's our tail. And then we're going to add dimensionals to the back of this. And we'll attach that, whoops, we only want one of these, we got two. All right, so we're going to attach that. Let's attach this first to our card base. So we're going to add our adhesive. All right, so that's going to lay right in the center. And again, use the larger deckled, and you'll have more of that beautiful card base showing through. All right, push your thumbnails down into your dimensionals. It lifts the backing up much easier, or take your pick tool. And then we're going to place this, we'll put it right there where it kind of hides that white spot. So we'll place this right there. And actually, let me move it over just a little bit. There we go. And there is our first alternative card. Isn't that cute? So that what you can do using the material in the box, our contents. Okay, so we're going to move on to our next card. Let me move my inks out of the way. I've got a stack of them right here, and I don't think I need all these. So let's move these out of the way. And we are going to bring in the, let's see which one we're going to do now. We're going to do the next card. which, let me bring it in here. We're going to do some blending as well as some coloring. And this one is what we're using, and this is In the Moment. And I thought this would be cute because you've got the girl looking out the window, the girl in the bed with the dog, and this one. And we Stampin' Up! Has several of these pencil type drawings in the annual catalog, so you might want to take a look at them. And this is what the card's going to look like. And these were supposed to be rocks, but I don't like that look, so I think I'll probably just try to make it look like make it thinner and make it look like dirt. And then the inside, we took a scrap piece and we added that to the bottom of our white cardstock and popped this up on dimensionals. Okay, so again, this is pretty simple, so let's lay that right there. We're going to be using the white card base. We're going to bring in our paper trimmer because we do need to cut some paper, but the first thing we want to do is score our cardstock. So again, it's thick basic white and 4 1/4, and then we're going to put that aside, and then we're going to cut a piece of I need a piece of pecan pie, and this is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. So this piece here is already at 5 1/4, or close enough. So I'm going to cut this down to 4 inches. All right, so we're going to do that at 4. And actually, let's move it up a little bit. Let's, instead of doing 4, let's do 4. Let's do 4 1/8. That'll give us a little less of the white. And if we don't like it, we can trim it back down. All right, and then this is going to be at 5 1/4, and that's where that is right now. So let's see what that's going to look like on our white before we put this trimmer up, because we may want to adjust it. So give me 1 second. Let's move this off to the side and get our card space scored. Hang on a minute. Let me flip it around. I always like to do this in case it's not laying exactly even, which it's not. So I'm going to hold my finger here, take my bone folder, and then again do it on both sides. Okay. All right. So now we can lay this on here and see if that's what we want. And I think we do. So let's go with that so we don't have as much white. All right, so now we're going to come in with our back. This is one of the back pieces of our card base from the kit. And we're going to cut this down. So that was 5 1/4. So we're going to make this 5 1/8. So let's see what it looks like, because there's 5 1/4. So let's make it 5 1/8. Actually, this is, yeah, this is 5 1/2. So we're going to make this, because that was, let's do this at 5 1/8, because that was at 5 1/4. So we're going to cut that. And then this was at 4 1/8. Yeah, I want to cut that off. And we are going to make this at 4. Let's see, what size 4? Yeah, let's do 4. Let me just make sure this was 4. I think this was 4 1/8. This was that. Yeah, 4. Yes, 4 1/8. So we'll make the paper at 4 inches. All right, so we're going to cut this down to 4. All right, so let's cut that. We'll keep this little piece because we might want to use that and that as well. All right, let's see how this looks before, whoops, if I can get my fingers up, before we move our board away. And I think that's fine. It gives us just a small, now that did not cut straight, did it? All right, hang on, let's cut this. Yeah, it's a little bit off. So this is supposed to be at 4 inches. Let me make sure. Oh, this is the one. Look at that. That one's not straight at all. That's crooked. It's this guy. Look. This one goes all the way up. This one at the top goes to 4 3/8. And then look at the bottom. It's not even at 4 1/8. So let's cut a new one. I must have slid it around because that is really crooked. All right, let's try this again. This is going to be, is that part straight? I'm trying to look and see. Okay. All right, we want this at, what did I say? We want this at 5 1/8. 1/4 by 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, so let's do 5 1/4. Hopefully this is going to be straight. 5 1/4 by 4. 4 inches. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. I think I wanted it bigger than that, but anyways. All right, now we got 5 1/4 by 4. We're going to have to trim this down now because that was supposed to be 5 3/8. Okay, 5 1/4 by 4 since I've already cut it. So 5 1/4 by 4. So we're gonna bring this down just an 1/8. So we're gonna make this 3 7/8. So we're gonna make very little of the pecan show, and that's at 5 1/4. So we're gonna make this at 5 1/8. Okay, and that should work. So ignore my initial directions I just gave you as far as the sizing. That's better when it's cut straight. Okay, so one more time, your pecan pie is going to be cut at 5 1/4 by 4, and then this piece is going to be cut at 5 1/8. 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. Okay? All right, so now we got that straight. Okay, let's move this out of the way. I think we're done with the paper trimmer. Good thing I caught that, because that would have made our paper look a little, our card would have been a little off balance there. Okay, so then we've got this together, so we can go ahead and add these pieces, and then we're going to do some coloring with our blends. So let's go ahead and attach this. All right, so we're going to go ahead and add this to our pecan pie, and we're going to lay it in here. And then you've got some time when you use the liquid glue just to maneuver it a little bit, and it allows you to move your stuff around. All right, so that looks good. We'll go ahead and add this to our card front. All right. Just got glue on my fingers. All right, so let's put that on here. We'll place that down right there, and we'll move it over just a tad. All right, so there's that. All right, so that part is done for now. And then the next thing we're going to do, let me push this in here. All right, so we're going to save these pieces for the inside. Now we're going to come in and we're going to design our piece of our design for the card that we're going to be coloring. And this is cut at, this looks off too, doesn't it? No, maybe it's me. Okay, this should be 4 3/8. Let's just confirm it. All right, this is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and then this should be 3 by 3. Yep, 3 by 3. 3 1/4 square and 3 by 3. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our Memento black ink, and we're going to take our sentiment. And since the stamp is a little bit bigger, I'm just going to go ahead and mark, put my black on here. This is Memento black ink. And then we're going to stamp it right on here. Okay. All right. And I didn't push down enough to get that, so let's flip it over. I did not get her middle part of her dress, her belt. Didn't get enough ink on it, so let's make sure we got that in there. Okay, I think we're good now. That's a good thing about our paper is it's two-sided, so since we boogered that one up, or I did, then we get to push it down again, make sure it's centered, and we're going to push down, and then I'll just give it, I do have a cushion underneath here, so that should help. There we go, that's much better. And we got our birds in there and everything. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and give this a color, and then we're going to use a mask on her as well, and then we're going to do some coloring for the sky and the ground, okay? So let's bring in our Stampin' Up markers, and I am using the Color Series 700 for her skin, and I'm going to come in and just start coloring, and I'm going to be very gentle because I am using the larger tip. But I want to try to get this done so we're not here all day with me using the little brush. So I'm going to use that and just stay with right inside the lines with when you're using this larger tip, because it does, you know, you could go outside. All right, so let's just get that covered, and we'll do her fingers. Make sure we get all of those done. Okay, and then, okay, I think that's good. We'll color her hair. Did I bring the color? Oh, I got to get the color for her hair. Give me 1 second. We're going to color her hair with the new, we'll do the light color of the light wild wheat. It's a color that most people don't like. So, but we'll do that in just a moment. All right. So we're going to go ahead and come in with, I've got the light shade of Bubble Bath, and we're going to color her drink. She's drinking something that's pink. We'll throw that in there for the Barbie movie. All right, and then we're going to come in and color, let's do the table she's standing at. We're going to do that in the pecan pie as well. So we're going to come in, and I'm just going to use, I'm using the light, and then I'll probably come back and use a little dark to give it some shading. So give me a minute. And that's her belt, so we don't want to go there. All right, and then we're going to do the legs. Let me bring this over just a little bit. It's kind of cut off, so we're going to just color the legs of the table. All right, and then I'm going to come back with the dark and just do a little bit, tiny amount of shading on the legs. Might make these a little bit darker. Okay, and then we'll come down here. All right. And we'll come back in with our light and just do a quick blend just in this area right here. And just kind of blend that in. And we'll do a little bit here. Okay. All right, and then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to color her dress. We're going to do Orchid, the Orchid Oasis, and I am going to color her in the light, and then I'm going to do this area of her belt in the dark. So I'm going to go ahead and do her belt now. And then we'll come back and color the rest of her. And I'll come in, let me go ahead and do these little lines here to give it some accents where it's like some folds or, all right, so we'll do that. Okay-doke. And then we'll color in this. And again, I'm going to use the fat tip. Ooh, and just try to, without going out of the lines, try to get this colored in. And we're going to try to go around her hair, which we're going to end up coloring, but we don't want to get her hair colored purple or orchid or whatever color, like a purpley color, right? All right, so we'll come down. And you can color however you color. I tend to like to do the longer strokes so it doesn't show so many streaks. All right, and then we'll come down here. And no, we'll just, maybe we should bring this all the way down. She's at the table. Okay, so we're just going to bring that all the way down to the edge of the card. Okay, all right, now let's do her hat and her hair. So let's go ahead and get her hair done. And again, this is the wild wheat, and this is the light. I'm just going to come around and color in all the areas that's Kind of got some white spots in it. It really does make a good color for hair. And then we're going to use Moody Mauve for her hat. And we'll just get that, and we'll just come in here. And we might leave a little bit of white through in there. Okay. All right, so there's our coloring. Now we're going to take a mask, which is what I've done here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my labeling and cover-up tape, which is sticky on both sides, but it doesn't rip your paper when you pull it off. And I'm just going to roll this up and place this right here. And then I'm going to put my mask, because my mask wants to move. So I'm going to place, whoopsie. Now see, this one doesn't want to cooperate. My other one did. Hang on. All right, so we're going to lay that right there. And then I'm going to cover her up. And what you do is you'll stamp this either on a memo, plain white, piece of tissue, copy paper. You can do our masking paper, cardstock, whatever works for you. And you want to have this so it holds it down. And then we're going to do some blending. So what will happen with the masking is whatever you cover up will be in the front of whatever it is that you're trying to color. So we're going to do the sky. So we're going to come in with our balmy blue again. Oh, I got to pull that back in here. So let me get the balmy. I've got ink all over the place. I'm trying to figure out what I did with him. All right, hang on. There's the browns. Where's my blue? Well, where'd you go, balmy? All right, in that case, I think we'll do pool party. All right, let me look around here. Give me a second. This is craziness because I know I had it. We just used the blue. It's probably hiding it with all this other mess down here. All right, there's the gray and there's blue. What in the world did I do with them? Okay. Oh, he's over here. I hit him with a piece of paper. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you start crafting. You've got things going every which direction, right? So, all right. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in. I'm going to bring my scratch paper in, and I'm going to color. I'm going to hold this down. Actually, let me get another piece because her hat's popping up. So let's just put another piece right there. Let's see if we can get that to hold it down. If this doesn't work, I'll just go get another piece from my other stuff over there. Let me tear this in half. All right, so we're just going to set that right there, and that holds it down. There we go. Okay, now we're going to bring in our blue, and again, when you start blending, you want to get a light color. You want to tap off and do a little bit of taking any excess, and then come in off your paper. You don't want to have any major splotches that are going to show. We just want a nice little sky color, right? So we're just going to come around, and again, I'm going to tap it off and then come in from the corner, and I'm holding down the paper as well. So now when you can go backwards to take any excess ink off your sponge. So you can go both directions. All right, so we're going to tap again, tap that off, and then we're going to come in again on the sides. Get some coloring. We want to make sure she's sitting at the table, right? So the sun and the clouds or the sky's in the background. And you could put a sun in here if you want, but we're just going to make some sky. It's no big deal. So we're just going to do that, bring that down, and color that in. All right, I think that's good. Let's do a little bit right here in this area. I'll have to come in and do a little tip right there in between her hands. Let me see if I can get a little spot right there. We're just going to do a little tappy so it doesn't look like she's got a white. Let me see if I can get some on here. There we go. We'll cut a little bit more there. Okay, there we go. All right, so there's that. Now we're going to come in and we'll do some beige because we don't want it to look like she's sitting in the air, right? So let's bring in our crumb cake again. Now this one we're going to definitely want to come off because we see how it made a big blotch there. We don't want that. So we just want to come in and make it look like there's some dirt here. but this is the ground. Alright, so we're just going to go back and forth. Try to get a little bit of blending in. Just kind of make it look like it's brown. And again, I don't want to get any splotching, so I'm just going to come in lightly, and I'm going to rub both directions just to get the ink off. Try to come around my table so my legs look like they're on the, in the dirt. Alright, and if we want a little bit more, we'll just do again and do a little tap, and we'll come in and start again trying to do some swirling to get the dirt effect, or the ground. You can make it green if you want the grass, it's up to you. Alright, so I think we're going to go with that. Okay, so let's close up this, and now we're going to pull our mask off and pull off our tape. See how easy it comes off? Alright, so we're going to toss that. We're going to throw this away. Now that looks better. Alright, so let's move this out of the way. And put that out of the way. Move everything out of the way. Alright. Okay, so now we're ready to get this card. So we're going to go ahead and attach this to here. Alright. And that's going to go right like that. But we're going to pop this up on dimensionals. So let's go ahead and add our adhesive. Alright, so we've got that like that. And got our little birds there. We're going to put dimensionals on the back side. And again, this is the pack of dimensionals that they send you. They used to send us little tiny ones, but they finally decided to start sending the full size like we have, that we actually use. So that was a good thing. And then, let's see, the next thing we're going to do is, oh shoot, I shouldn't have, I wrapped that around, but that's all right. We're gonna wrap the, let me take this off. We're going to wrap the twine around this. I did it around the larger part of the card. Before I laid this down, I wrapped it around behind this, but that's all right. We're going to wrap it around here. No big deal. It will still give it the same effect. So let's go ahead and pull off our twine, and we're going to have to cut this. Hang on a minute. Hope we got it all. Okay, so I'm going to try to get the wrinkles out of it. So we're going to wrap this around. Let me see. Oh, we want to go this way. All right, let's wrap it. Let's wrap it twice and see if we've got enough that we can make a bow. Here, hang on a minute. Let's see. If not, we'll just go once. We want to make a bow, or we could do a knot. It's no big deal. Let's see if that'll work. That'll work. And go like that. Let's do that. I'm going to bring my craft mat in because I took my dimensionals off, the backings off of them, so they're going to stick. So let's see if we can't pull this. All right, let's go like that. And we'll wrap this around. See if we can wrap it around both ways. Then make it look like it's double wrapped. So hang on a second. Let's get this pulled up. When you work with the twine, it's so crazy because it's so thin, right? So let's hold on to that. Get this wrapped around this way. See if we got enough. Nah, we don't have enough to tie it. Nope, we don't. That's okay. We're just going to wrap it once, and we'll make a bow. No biggie. So let's get it wrapped around here. And we're going to do it towards the bottom. So I'm going to do it right above my dimensionals. That would probably be the easiest way to do it. And we'll just lay it down there, and we'll just tie our bow. And the nice thing is you can tie your bow if you want it on one side, the other, or the center. It's however you want to do it. And if you don't tie it too tight, you can always slide it around. And then one thing also is once you get it, put some adhesive on the back if you got it a little bit loose, and then that will hold the twine down. Okay, so there we go. We've got that. So let's go ahead, and I think I'm going to move it over to the side. So let's just slide it over like that. And we're going to tighten up our bow a little bit. It's a little too big in my opinion. And let's see how that looks. Pull him out of the loop here. We've got our tail going through the loops. Let's get him out of there. It's easier that way. Can you hear my dog snorting? She's ready to go because it's her dinner time. And if we don't feed her on time, man, I'll tell you what, she becomes a monster. All right, so we've got that. Okie doke. Now, it's a little loose, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of my seal, and I'm just going to place a little bit right here, and then all I do is tighten up my string or my twine right on that little piece right there so it holds it down, and it doesn't kind of look like it's loosey-goosey. All right, so we're going to place that right about here. All right, so there's that. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our sentiment, which is right here. Bear with me, and I should have a scrap of white paper somewhere. Oh, I do. I had a piece right in here. We'll just use the piece I tossed away. All right, so we're going to use Good Luck, and we'll stamp that in Memento Black. And we're just going to stamp that right there because we're going to punch this out with a circle punch. All right, that's better. This is a retired 1-inch circle punch. I highly encourage you, if you have circle punches, you know, it's always best to keep them. So I'm just going to punch that out. Circle punches or any kind of punch is good, especially if you do a lot of punching. It's easier in my opinion, but some people like, I like the dies too, but sometimes the punches are a lot easier if you're only doing 1 or 2 items. All right, so we're going to put a dimensional on the back of this, and then we're going to pop this up, and we're going to put it over here in this left corner and kind of hang off a little bit since the birds are there. And then we're going to use some of our, let me see, where is it? Where's my doodads? Let me find, all right, hang on a minute. They're in the drawer. And we're going to use some in colors. There they go. And I think what I'm going to do is use a little bit of the, I guess I'll do the, I'm trying to decide. I think I'll go with the copper, it's copper clay, I think is what this color is, because it's one of the in colors. So I think I'm just going to take, I think I lost my little doodad. All right, so we're going to take one of these. I'm just going to put 2 right here. 2 little ones. All right, and these are the 23, 25 in color dots. All right, so we're going to lay that there. And then the only other thing that we can do is if we have this little strip that came off the card, we can lay that right here if we'd like. We can glue that here, or we can take the strip and, oh, there's the glue dot that I just pulled off, and it was stuck to my finger that I couldn't find. Okay. I think we'll just put this right here. So I'm going to glue this down, and then I'll just have it come off the edge of my card, and then I will just trim it off. So we can add, actually, I'm going to use this one. This one's a little bit lighter. So let's do this one, and we'll just put some adhesive on this. All right, and then we'll pull this in. And we'll, whoops, good thing it went that way, huh? All right, we're going to pop it over. We're going to lay it on here all the way to the side and get it right up, butted up to the side like that. All right, and that's good. And then there's just a little tiny piece hanging off the back. So we'll just trim that up real quick. It's very minimal. No one probably see it, but we did. All right, so there's the next card that we made with our Boho Beach kit. All right, how's that? Okay, we've got one more card and we'll be done. All right, so this one, we're gonna use strips. So what I did was I had 2 of those card bases left over, the backs where I cut them in half. So I cut them in 1-inch strips, and we're gonna create a little pattern for this card. So this is the card that we're gonna make. We're gonna use the leaves from our kit. We're gonna use one of the sentiments pieces of it from the kit, of course, the twine. And then we're going to use the strips. They're 1-inch strips, so when you cut your card base, you've got a 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. and you're just going to cut 1-inch strips. And then we're going to take those and we're going to make this little piece right here, okay? And then on the inside, I had a little piece left over, so I added that to the inside of the card. All right, so we're going to lay that right there. And then we're going to come in. I've got, again, my base, card base of 5.5 by 8.5. And we're going to score it at 4 1/4. I'm going to go ahead and just fold it. And we will be done after this card. So give me just a minute. And then we'll start making this one. Get your bone folder. It's getting ready to rain here, so it's getting dark outside. All right, so we're going to give that a good crease. All right, and then the first thing we're going to do, we've taken a piece of Lost Lagoon, and this is 4 by 5 1/4, and that's going to go on here. But before we do that, we're going to stamp it with our leaf stamp that came with the kit, and we're going to use the Lost Lagoon. So we're going to stamp tone on tone. So let me bring this in, and then our scrap paper. And that way we're going to stamp off. So all we're going to do is stamp around the edges. You don't need to really stamp the inside for the most part because that's all going to be covered up. So I'm just going to come in and start at the bottom. And I'm just going to make some images, just stamp them. And you can do it however you want to do this. And then we're going to come in from the top. I'm going to come down. All right, and we'll come down this way. And then we'll come in this way. And then we've got some sides right here. So let's go ahead and come that way. And obviously you can see the leaf is twisting, right? It's twisting to the left. And we'll stamp that right there. And I think that's all we need because the inside's going to be covered up. Okay? So there's that. And then let me ink this, clean this ink real quick. All right. So we've got that. We're going to set that off to the side for just a moment. Now we're going to bring in our 1-inch scraps that we cut. And these are leftovers from what I have. And then I use my craft mat. As you can see, these are extra pieces that I cut off that I might need to fill in the little tiny areas. And we have our 2 leaves. We'll put those there. And then I have a piece of basic white that is 4 inches by 3 3/4. So 3 3/4 by 4. And then this one is 4 1/8 by 3 7/8. Okay, so when we get this, it's going to go on here. So we'll have a small border for our thing. Okay, so what we're going to do, we have our 1-inch strips, right? So let me bring in my other craft mat because I need that because I don't want to get glue all over everywhere. So we're just going to kind of move some of this stuff out of the way. And we'll be done here as soon as we get done with this card. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, let me see what I've got here, how many pieces. Okay, I've got 2 of each. Hopefully we got enough. So let's start this one. I'm going to start corner to corner. But what I think I want to do is I want this one to come right up at the corner on the left side. So I'm going to do it like that. And then this one, I want it to come down. I got to hold my finger there. I want this one to come down to the right. So both corners will be covered, okay? So let's go ahead and add our adhesive. And that'll just make it easier when we get ready to try to fill in, the little small areas that we might need, okay? So let's put, again, we're going to start with this one up here to the left of that tip and cover that one up. And then this one's we're going to slide it down. Whoops, and this one's going to go to the right. So we're going to make it more of an angle. And the glue is fine because it's going to be covered up anyways. All right, so we want that to go there. And then this one, we're going to slide it over just a little bit more. I think that's good. We'll just leave it like that, okay? This is why you want to use your craft mat. All right, so now we'll start and we'll go with a green. And we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to butt these up so we have just a little space between them, okay? And then any of the pieces that we cut off, we want to keep them because we'll need to use those to cut in our little areas that are missing something, okay? So let's go ahead and we're going to add this one here. And we'll pull, I think we'll pull it up some. That way we have a bigger piece that we can cut off and use. We just want to leave a little gap, not much, okay? All right, so we've got that. Now, whoops, got to be careful when you use the, you can use your seal. If you use the liquid glue like I just did, it's gonna move. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna cut these off because we want to keep these little pieces that we can use. So let me get this one cut off. All right, so we've got a little piece right there we can use. I'm gonna move him over there. And then we're gonna cut this piece off. Oh, it's thundering now. All right, so we're gonna put that one over here as well. Because we might need those to fill in some little squares, right? Little triangled areas or whatever. This one we're gonna cut off. He's not big enough, so we probably won't worry about him. And then these two we'll trim. So you just wanna come right up against your card base. And then we'll come in with this one. Okay, so that's gonna go there. And we're gonna keep those greens because we're definitely gonna use those greens. All right, so we've got that. Now let's come in on this side. Let's see if we've got, we've got this, we've got some browns over here. So let's see if we can fill in some of these gaps. So we could put this guy. All right, so you want to try to use what you have, right? Actually, let's do this. Let's use this guy here. So we'll add him. And then we'll just need a little tiny piece for right there. So let's go ahead and put some adhesive on him. I'm not going to put it all the way down because I don't think we need that. All right, so we're going to place that right here. Get it just a small gap and lay him down. Let it take a minute for it to kind of set. Let's move this one over just a little bit. We got it right on the edge, okay? So this is pretty easy. This one is a little bit time consuming because you got to be careful. All right, so, and again, you see I got my glue. So I'm just going to hold that down there. And then we'll come back on this side and we want green, right? So I'm going to put the green, I think we'll do it like this. So we've got less brown. All right, so I've got some green right there. So we'll go ahead and bring this one up and add this one on. And we'll add some glue right here. Whoopsie. And again, it's just another way that we can use our card bases and use them for making a different type of card. So we've got a very small space right there. So we're going to lay that down. Let that sit for just a minute, and then I'll come back and I'm going to trim off these pieces because those we'll be able to use with some of those other ones, okay? So while that one is adhering, let's go ahead and cut off this one. So we're going to remove this piece here. And when you put the adhesive on it, of course your scissors are going to get a little gunky. So you need to make sure you clean those off. I use Goo Gone, whatever works for, whatever you tend to find that works for you. I like the Goo Gone because it gets all the stuff off of my desk as well. All right, so let's go ahead and trim this piece off right here. And I'm going to put that right there. Whoopsie. Put it on here so we can get to it. There we go. And then this one we're going to cut. Staying right next to the edge. There we go. Okay, move that over. All right, so far so good, right? So now we just need a couple of green pieces that we can try to fill in. So I'm going to come over here and pull some of these scraps up, right? So let's take the, well, we don't really need green right there, do we? Well, let's go with some beige. Let's do that. Let's do this one. I should have went at an angle. All right, let's do this. Let's put this one here. So we're going to butt that one up. So let's add a little bit of adhesive. So I've got them going in that way, and I should have stopped and turned. I didn't think about turning. I kept doing it in the same direction, and I should have turned them. Because if you notice how I did this one, when I did those two straight, then I came in this way. And this one, I did them all the same. But it's okay, however you want it to look when you design it. All right, so we're going to come up here and do it here. I'm going to have it hang over the edge and leave a little bit of the white because that's green, so we want to have some beige here, right? So we'll bring another piece of beige in. And we might have to do green and beige, which we can. So we could do a piece right here, or actually if we did it like that, no, let's don't, we want to go this way. We do it like that, then we just need a little piece to fit in that little hole right there. And that could be, might be this one right here. We could just, no, that's not going to fit. We'll have to come up with something here. All right, so let's go ahead and get these guys in tune there. All right, so we're going to trim these off. We've got pieces here we can work with. We'll make something fit. All right. So this is, however, you know, whatever design, you can have this crisscrossing, you can have it going up and down, straight, whatever, you know, whatever works for you. And we could actually, let's see, that one might not, probably go, oh, why don't we try this? We've got this piece here. We could do that, get that piece off my finger. Thinking about having some white in here. So if we do, we could cut that. That's not going to work, is it? We'd have to have it going. Oh, that'll work. We could do that right there. All right, so let's do that. I'm going to cut this up just a little bit. And we're going to have this. Oops, we need to cut that down, don't we? Let's see. We're going to do that. So he's going to have to come. Let's see if that works. Oh, that'd be perfect. Look at that. It's already got glue on it. You can trim it just a little bit more because we need just a little bit so the white will show through. All right, hang on. Let's just do trim like that. All right, and this already has adhesive. So we're going to pop that right there. And we are good. All right, so all these little scraps, then we can just toss these, or you can use them something else. You can put some on the inside of the card. So let's just set those over there out of the way. All right, so we're going to trim this off. We have one more piece left, but we can use that on another card. All right, so let's move all this goo stuff out of the way. All right, so there's that piece. So we're going to go ahead. Whoops, we forgot one piece. Uh-oh, hang on. We need a corner. Hold up, hold up. We need a little corner right here. We got a corner hanging off. So let's do, look at that right there. That will be perfect. So let's put a little bit of glue on him. I almost forgot that one. There we go. Actually, I'm going to tap that off a little bit. It's a little too much. And let's put that right there. And let that hold for just a second. All right, we're almost done. Okay, so we're going to let that sit for a minute. And let's cut him off. Okay, get all this other stuff off my scissors. All right, let's do another little snip right here. I got a couple pieces that are hanging. Okay, there we go. Oh, perfect. That worked out very well. See, so you want to keep all your little pieces because you never know when they might come in handy. All right, so now I have glue all on my fingers. All right, so, okay, let's go ahead and attach this to our card. And remember, we did a very small border of the pecan pie. So let's go ahead and get this glued down. I tell you, when you start working this liquid glue, you start getting it all over everywhere, but it's a good, easy glue because it allows you to move stuff. All right, so we're going to place that right here and get it, push it over just enough. And then I always have to lift it up so I can look at it and make sure I move this down so we get our nice border. All right, so there we go with that. Now the next thing we're going to do, all right, so we're going to bring in and we're going to attach our piece that we just stamped with our leaf stamp. So let's ink this up. Put the glue on it. It's been a long day. I hope y'all are enjoying this. All right, so we're going to place that right here, right on top of our white card base. And again, we want to make sure we've got about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Okay, now this one we're going to place, and we're going to lay this down. We're not going to pop this up, and that's going to go just like that. Okay, so we're going to lay that one down as well. All right. And we're going to lay that right here. I'll leave it a little bit from the top. and come over just a smidge because I want the green to show on both sides. Our Lost Lagoon with the leaves. Okay. All right, and then now we're going to add our leaves from the kit. So we'll just put some adhesive on our little green and brown. So let's just do, I'm just going to put a couple of little dots on it. Not on every leaf, I'll just put it on a couple so that they lay down. And then we'll come over here and do the same. All right, and then we'll use our tweezers, if I can get them up here. All right, and then we're gonna lay this probably right about here. All right, so we're gonna lay that down, and then we're gonna do the same thing with this little guy. This is the Lost Lagoon, so we're just gonna put some dots on the leaves. And my dog's licking her feet because she's so hungry. No. All right, there we go. We're just gonna put some little dots on them. A little bit of glue dots. Not glue dots, but liquid glue. All right, so we're gonna flip this over, and I'm gonna put this right there so it kind of stays up a little higher. Okay. All right, and then the next thing we're going to do is take our sentiment piece. Oops, I guess I didn't pull that out of the box, did I? All right, hang on a minute. All right, so while that's sitting there, let's grab us a sentiment. So we want one that has the brown. So we'll take one of these off of our little kit piece. We'll take that, put that back in there. All right, and now we're going to stamp our sentiment. And on this one, I'm going to put Thinking of You, is what I did on the other card. And again, we're going to use the Lost Lagoon because I love that color, and I just think it kind of pulls it all together. So let's go ahead and we're going to put that. We're going to stamp this right about here. Hopefully I get this straight. Okay, a little high, but that's okay. Oop, it's thundering. Okay. All right, and then the next thing we're going to do is tie a little bit more twine. Now I think we'll just do a bow. We won't tie it. Let's just tie a bow. So we'll just make a bow out of our twine, and then we'll shorten it up once we pull it through. And the dog is ready to go. All right, so we'll do that and tighten that up. Trim that down. Let's see how that looks. I think that's fine, so let's put another glue dot on here. And you can always use a little dot of your glue if you want. And you can stick your ribbon on top of the glue dot that's on your paper, and then just pull it off with your fingers. And we'll just kind of roll it up on there. And then we are going to lay this down. And then I'll trim up the tails. So we're going to lay that right about like that. Okey-doke. And I'll trim up the tails. These are a little bit long for my preference. Okey-doke. And then we'll add some dimensionals to this. We'll put 3 on here. All right, so we're going to add our dimensionals. And then we're going to put this down towards the bottom, and we're going to cover up these parts of the leaf here, kind of center it. And then the last thing I'm going to add is some of these tinsel gems. And I like this color. It's a pretty green. So I think I'll put one of the medium-sized ones, and we'll put that right about there. Okay, and then the last thing is I have this little tiny piece of strip of the paper. So let's add that to the inside of our card, and we'll just add it. Well, he's not even. Nah, we'll leave that off. Well, we got this piece right here. Hang on. Let's do this piece. We'll put this one right down here. Yeah, let's do that. All right, we'll put this piece right down at the bottom, and then we'll be done, and I'll bring all the cards in so that you can see them again. I hope you've enjoyed this, showing you how you can think outside of the box. Make sure that you take advantage of these kits that are on sale. Now this is August 5th. I know this kit is unorderable right now. It may be back in stock hopefully in the next week or so. Just keep checking back. You can go to my online store. Again, I'll have all of that listed down below. And I'm trying to get the glue off the back. I'll get my eraser off. Okay, so we have everything in there, and then there's the inside of that card. All right, so let me move all of this out of the way, and let me bring the cards back in that we designed. This is so fun to be able to take these cards and create something different than what the kit tells us to do. And let me pull those out so that we can show what the kit recommends that we do and what we did with using our alternatives. Let me move this out of the way. Okay, so here are what the kit's recommendations are right there. And then here are our alternative cards to this set. The Boho Beach set, Boho Beach kit. So go on to the online store through my online store and click on kits, and it will bring you up the list of kits that we have up. They're all on sale. Most of them are on sale up to 30% off. So I would highly encourage you to do so. I went ahead and ordered 3 boxes of other kits that I'm going to be using for classes. So again, thank you so much for spending your time with me and watching this. I hope this helps you think outside the box. And if I can help with anything, please reach out to me. You can message me, DM me, whatever works for you. All right, everyone, thanks again, and have a great day or evening, depending on when you're watching this. And don't forget, if you're watching on Facebook, make sure that you subscribe and share. And if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure that you subscribe and ring that bell, click the bell so that you'll be notified when I update and post more videos. All right, everyone, thanks again. Talk to you soon.